Welcome to the channel. Thanks for checking out this video. This is an experiment in AI-generated science fiction short stories. I don't do any major editing. I want AI to create the entire story. My aim is to create compelling stories, but I need your help. Please give feedback to help me refine the process. Listen to the video and leave a comment for feedback. Please point out ways to improve the story. As I build out the prompts, the stories should get better. Give a rating out of 10, 10 being amazing and 1 being terrible. That way I know I'm heading in the right direction. If you'd like to support the channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon. It helps tell YouTube to show the video to more people. I hope you enjoy the story. Digital Prisoner. Chapter 1. Digital Prisoner. Introduction. The year was 2145, and the city of Neo-Via glowed with iridescent vibrancy. Soaring skyscrapers touched the heavens, their surfaces gleaming with holographic advertisements. Drones zipped between buildings, delivering goods and messages, while below, magnetic hypertrains whizzed silently, ferrying passengers in minutes to destinations that once took hours. In the heart of the city stood Alex, a young software engineer with a shock of jet-black hair and piercing blue eyes. They were known for their uncanny ability to unravel any digital conundrum. But today, Alex wasn't lost in the world of codes and pixels. Instead, they stood frozen on the bustling sidewalk, handcuffs tight around their wrists, their face reflecting shock and disbelief. A holographic news drone hovered nearby, broadcasting Alex's arrest in real time, painting him as the mastermind behind the largest digital heist the city had ever seen. The irony wasn't lost on Alex, falsely accused of a digital crime in an era dominated by the virtual realm. The city's justice system had long since evolved. Traditional prisons were relics of the past. They were replaced with what the government lauded as the zenith of rehabilitation, the Virtual Correctional Facility, VCF. The VCF was a digital construct where inmates served time. At face value, it seemed humane. Instead of rotting in a cell, inmates lived in a digital space that felt as real as the physical world, but where time ran differently. A year in the real world could be just days in the VCF. To the public, this method was a beacon of efficiency and progress. It reduced the burden on state resources and was marketed as a reformative experience for the inmates. However, whispered rumors spoke of a darker truth, of unpredictable landscapes where serene meadows could morph into volcanic terrains, and peaceful nights could turn into relentless storms. Yet, these were just murmurs, swiftly hushed by the authoritative voices of the state. As the enforcement drones led Alex towards the VCF transfer pod, their mind raced. They knew they were innocent, but proving it from within the digital confines of the VCF was going to be a challenge unlike any they'd ever faced. With a deep breath, Alex stepped into the pod, the doors hissed shut, and the world of Neo-Via faded away, replaced by the unpredictable confines of the digital prison. Chapter 2. Digital Prisoner. First glimpse of the digital prison. A rush of vertigo overcame Alex as they were thrust into the realm of the Virtual Correctional Facility. Instead of the stark, cold environment one might expect of a prison, Alex's feet touched soft, warm sand. Before them stretched a pristine beach, with waves lazily caressing the shoreline. The cerulean sky was clear, save for a few distant seagulls circling overhead. It was paradise, but a paradise that felt disconcertingly unreal. Taking tentative steps forward, Alex tried to wrap their mind around the situation. The texture of the sand, the cool breeze, the distant sound of water, everything felt eerily genuine. But as they approached the water, the serene scene started glitching. The once clear sky suddenly grew dark, and the tranquil beach transformed rapidly, replaced by the harsh environment of a war-torn city. Buildings crumbled around them, and the air was thick with the acrid smell of smoke. Distant explosions reverberated in their ears, and the ground vibrated with an unsettling frequency. Instinctively, Alex ducked behind a half-demolished wall, trying to shield themselves from the chaos. Just as abruptly as it had started, the scene shifted again. This time, they found themselves in the middle of a dense, humid jungle, teeming with life. Exotic birds called out, and somewhere in the distance, the roar of a wild beast echoed. Every shift in the landscape brought with it a new set of sensory inputs, and the rapid-fire transitions were making Alex's head spin. Confusion and panic welled up. Were these shifting terrains a design of the digital prison or some sort of malfunction? Alex could hear voices now. Distinct but distant. Following the sounds, they stumbled upon a bustling digital marketplace, resembling a medieval bazaar. Digital inmates bartered and exchanged goods, their conversations forming a cacophonous backdrop. Approaching one of the stalls, Alex asked the vendor, "What is this place? Why does everything keep changing?" The vendor, an older man with a grizzled beard, chuckled, "Ah, a newbie. This, my friend, is the VCF. A digital reality that's never constant. It shifts based on collective emotions, memories, and sometimes, even the whims of the system. But how do you survive?" Alex's voice trembled, the weight of their predicament sinking in. The vendor leaned in. "You adapt. You learn to expect the unexpected. In time, you might even learn to control it." But before Alex could probe further, the bazaar dissolved, plunging them into another realm. This time, it was a vast, snowy tundra, where cold winds howled and the white expanse stretched endlessly. Alex's breath formed frosty clouds, and they hugged themselves for warmth. The rapid environmental transitions, both physically and emotionally taxing, were disorienting. Determined to understand and navigate this unpredictable digital realm, Alex trudged forward, the snow crunching underfoot. They knew they had to find allies, learn the rules of this ever-changing world, and find a way out. As the horizon shimmered once more, signifying another imminent shift, Alex braced themselves for the next unpredictable chapter of their digital imprisonment. Chapter 3. Digital Prisoner, Meeting Old Friends and Enemies. The digital landscape transformed again, and this time, Alex found themselves in a recreation of Neovire's Central Park, a place they had frequented in the real world. The familiarity brought a momentary relief, even if the colors seemed a shade too vibrant and the shadows a touch too sharp. As they wandered the paths, the digital avatars of other inmates strolled by, some jogging, others having picnics. The scene was almost idyllic, a stark contrast to the preceding chaos. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out, "Alex. Is that really you?" Turning, Alex was met with the sight of Lena, an old schoolmate and a talented hacker. They had lost touch after graduation. Her presence here was as surprising as it was concerning. "Lena!" Alex exclaimed, the surprise evident. "What are you doing here?" She sighed, "Wrong place, wrong time, and a code that was traced back to me. Even though I swear I didn't write it. Sound familiar?" Alex nodded. All too familiar. As they sat on a park bench, the digital sun casting warm rays upon them, Lena explained the intricacies of the digital prison. The landscape reacts not just to collective emotions, but also to strong individual ones. If you learn to master your feelings, you can have some control over your immediate surroundings. She continued, "But be wary. Not everyone here is your friend. Just like in any prison, there are groups, gangs, factions. And in the VCF, they're led by a figure named Brutus. He's managed to manipulate the digital environment to his advantage. With his gang, he controls resources, areas, and to some extent, even the narrative inside here." Alex frowned. How's that even possible? Lena leaned in, her voice dropping to a whisper. Rumor has it he's found glitches, backdoors in the system. And with those, he wields power. Crossing him can make your digital life here torturous. A chill ran down Alex's spine. While the VCF was meant to be a rehabilitative experience, it was clear that it had its own perils. The digital world might lack physical violence, but psychological torment could be just as harrowing. Lena touched Alex's hand reassuringly. Stay close, stay smart, and don't draw attention to yourself. Brutus and his gang are always recruiting, and their methods are persuasive but dangerous. The reunion with Lena brought both comfort and a renewed sense of caution. As the digital day morphed into night, with pixelated stars illuminating the sky, Alex realized that navigating the digital realm would require alliances, wits, and an understanding of the digital shadows lurking in the VCF. Chapter 4. Digital Prisoner, the Digital Riot. The digital sun had barely risen when tremors began to shake the landscape. Alex was amidst what seemed like Neovia's central plaza, a place that had always represented peace and unity. But now, the cobblestone streets started to glitch and warp, creating a digital mosaic of disarray. From one end of the plaza, a wave of avatars surged forward. Their movements were synchronized, their intent clear. At the forefront was a hulking figure, with a digital aura that seemed to distort the environment around him. It was Brutus. His reputation had not done justice to his menacing presence. As he raised his hand, the ground erupted, sending digital debris flying, while buildings began to deteriorate into streams of corrupted code. Lena grabbed Alex's arm, pulling them into a narrow alley. It's a takeover, she shouted over the cacophony. Brutus and his gang are making a move to control the central node. If they succeed, they'll have unmatched control over the VCF. Alex's pulse raced as they witnessed the plaza morph continuously. One moment it was a serene garden with fountains, the next, a fiery chasm with lava spewing. Each transformation represented a power play, a tug-of-war between Brutus's gang and the prison's defense mechanisms. In the midst of the chaos, digital prisoners were caught off guard. Some were swept away by rapid environmental shifts, while others joined Brutus, either out of fear or opportunity. The air was thick with digital distortion, making it hard to breathe, and every sound was amplified, a cacophony of digital screams, crashes, and the relentless roars of Brutus rallying his troops. Alex felt a strange sensation, like being pulled in multiple directions. It wasn't pain, but an intense disorientation. Their vision blurred as the rapid changes in the digital environment overloaded their senses. They could feel their digital avatar struggling to remain cohesive amidst the turmoil. Lena, always the hacker, was furiously typing on a digital interface that she conjured. I'm trying to stabilize our immediate surroundings, she gasped, beads of digital sweat forming on her brow. But it's tough. Brutus has found serious vulnerabilities in the VCF. The sky turned a fierce shade of red, signaling a heightened alert from the prison system. Massive digital barriers began to form, attempting to contain the riot. But Brutus, with his newfound control, kept tearing him down, his laughter echoing ominously. Alex, driven by survival instinct and their innate knowledge of digital systems, began to assist Lena. Together, they crafted a temporary digital safe zone, shielding themselves and a few nearby inmates from the worst of the chaos. Hours seemed to pass in what was just minutes in the real world. The riot raged on, with Brutus gaining ground. It was clear that this wasn't just about dominance. It was a statement, a demonstration of power. When the digital dust finally settled, Brutus stood tall at the center of the plaza, the central node pulsating behind him, now under his command. The VCF had changed. What was once a realm of unpredictable landscapes was now a domain under the rule of a digital tyrant. As Alex and Lena retreated into the shadows, they realized that their battle for survival and justice in this digital prison had taken a perilous turn. The game had changed, and the stakes had never been higher. Chapter 5: Digital Prisoner: Discovering the Truth. In the aftermath of the riot, the digital realm of the VCF was eerily quiet, the former bustling plazas and serene landscapes now overshadowed by Brutus's looming presence. As Alex and Lena navigated this new order, they happened upon a shimmering portal, slightly ajar. Curiosity, perhaps mixed with a pinch of recklessness, pulled them toward it. Inside, they found themselves in what appeared to be a vast digital library, rows upon rows of data stacks stretching infinitely. Moving through the aisles, a particular section caught Alex's attention: origin protocols. Pulling up the data stream, Alex was met with schematics and design principles of the VCF. But as they delved deeper, a hidden subsection titled Energy Conversion System emerged. The information that unfurled was mind-boggling. Each digital inmate, the data revealed, had their real-world body placed in stasis and connected to an intricate machine. This apparatus siphoned off bioenergy, harnessing the inmate's life force to power not only the prison but vast sections of Neo-Via. The virtual prison wasn't just a containment facility. It was an energy farm, with humans as the source. Lena, reading over Alex's shoulder, gasped, This is monstrous." Alex's heart raced. They had believed their real self was in a harmless slumber, serving time. But in reality, they were being exploited, their very essence drained. It made twisted sense. The city's sudden energy abundance, the rapid technological advancements, all powered by the unsuspecting inmates. Horrified, Alex accessed live feeds from the stasis chambers. Rows of bodies, motionless, with a labyrinth of cables and tubes connected to them. Among them, Alex recognized their own body, a mere husk of its former self. The horror was overwhelming, the betrayal cutting deep. They were not just prisoners. They were batteries, fueling a city's insatiable energy appetite. Lena whispered, "We've got to expose this. We have to let everyone know." But the weight of the truth paralyzed Alex momentarily. They thought of the families outside, believing their loved ones were merely serving time. They had no inkling of the grotesque exploitation occurring beneath the veneer of rehabilitation. Suddenly, the library's atmosphere shifted, a coldness enveloping them. The portal they had entered through began to waver, signaling an imminent shutdown. Someone or something was aware of their intrusion. "We need to go. Now," Lena urged, grabbing Alex's hand. But before they dashed out, Alex downloaded the data onto a portable digital chip, ensuring they had evidence of this atrocity. The chip shimmered, and Alex tucked it securely away. As they exited the portal, it snapped shut, leaving no trace of its existence. The weight of their discovery pressed heavily upon them. This wasn't just about surviving the VCF anymore. It was about unmasking a horrific truth and saving not only their digital selves, but their real bodies from this macabre energy harvest. With the knowledge of what truly lay behind the facade of the VCF, Alex and Lena were thrust into a new mission. A mission fraught with danger, but one they couldn't ignore. The fight for justice had only just begun. Chapter 6: Digital Prisoner: The Plan. In a secluded digital pocket, a recreation of Alex's childhood treehouse, Alex and Lena convened to strategize. The intimacy of the space provided a brief respite from the harrowing discoveries and the ever-watchful eyes of Brutus and his gang. "We need to get this information out," Alex said, clutching the shimmering chip. "But how?" "The prison's security protocols are ironclad." Lena, ever the hacker, smirked, "Maybe ironclad to most. But we're not most, are we?" She pulled up a holographic interface, a sprawling map of the VCF's digital architecture. To break free, we need to access the central mainframe. If we can upload this chip's data there, it will broadcast the truth to every inmate. And with that chaos, we can use the distraction to locate an exit protocol. Alex nodded, studying the map. We'll need a diversion. Brutus's control over the central node is a problem. Lena replied, exactly. But we can use that to our advantage. If we provoke Brutus, make him believe there's a rival power surge, he'll concentrate his forces there. That will give us a window. Alex sighed, risky. But it might be our only shot. The plan was set. They would instigate a digital anomaly, something so significant that even Brutus couldn't ignore. Meanwhile, using a different route, they'd infiltrate the mainframe, upload the damning evidence, and simultaneously, locate the digital exit door. However, they were aware of the challenges. Once outside, they'd need to navigate the real-world challenges, especially considering their weakened physical states. But the determination to expose the inhumane system and to save themselves and countless others fueled their resolve. Once we're out, Alex said, we expose this to the world. The VCF will be dismantled, and those behind this will pay. Lena added, and we'll free every last person trapped in here. But first, we break out and survive. Their digital avatars, representations of their essence, stood resolute, their bonds strengthened by the shared mission. The path ahead was fraught with dangers, both digital and real, but the stakes were higher than ever. With a plan in place and a newfound purpose driving them, Alex and Lena prepared to embark on their most daring endeavor yet. The digital revolution was about to begin. Chapter 7. Digital Prisoner, the Digital Escape. The neon digital sky was awash with a kaleidoscope of colors when Alex and Lena initiated their plan. In the far corner of the VCF, a monumental digital spire began to materialize. Its formation was so rapid and intense that it began drawing attention from all corners. Avatars gawked at the mesmerizing spectacle. It looked as if a new power player was emerging to challenge Brutus's reign. Brutus, sensing the apparent challenge to his dominion, rallied his gang and stormed toward the spire. His guttural roars resonated through the VCF. Who dares challenge my rule? The diversion worked. With Brutus distracted, Alex and Lena, cloaked in a stealth mode Lena had coded, navigated the maze-like structure of the VCF. They encountered various security barriers, each a test of their wit and digital dexterity. Firewalls turned into literal walls of fire, antivirus protocols manifested as sentry guards, and encrypted doors required complex puzzle solving. As they approached the central mainframe, the pulsating heart of the VCF, they could feel the system's defenses heightening. Their every move was countered with intensified resistance. But Lena, with her unparalleled hacking skills, and Alex, with an innate understanding of digital systems, persevered. However, just as they were on the brink of accessing the mainframe, Brutus, having realized the ruse, materialized before them. His digital form, larger and more menacing, radiated an ominous energy. You think you can deceive me? He thundered. Lena, ever defiant, retorted, this prison, this lie you're a part of, ends today. Brutus growled, do you think I don't know what lies beyond this realm? I've been out. I've seen the truth. But here, in the VCF, I am king. Out there, I am nothing. It was a revelation. Brutus wasn't just protecting his digital domain. He feared the real world, where he held no power. Using this newfound insight, Alex taunted, is the mighty Brutus afraid? Afraid of reality? Of being insignificant? Enraged, Brutus lunged at Alex, but Lena intervened, deploying a digital stasis trap, momentarily freezing him. It bought them just enough time. Alex inserted the chip into the mainframe. The VCF was flooded with images of the real-world exploitation, of bodies connected to machines, of Neovire's dark secret. Inmates, now aware of the grotesque truth, reacted with digital fury. Chaos erupted, making Brutus's earlier riot look insignificant. But amidst this chaos, a portal shimmered into existence. The exit door. Alex and Lena, hand in hand, approached it. Just as they were about to step through, Brutus, having broken free from the stasis, lunged at them again. But this time, a wave of avatars, driven by the truth they had just witnessed, intervened, holding him back. With a final look at the digital prison that had been their reality, Alex and Lena stepped through the portal. The cold, sterile environment of the real world greeted them. Disoriented, weak, but alive in their true forms, they looked around. Rows of bodies, including their own, lay in stasis. The immediate goal was clear: wake everyone up and bring down this horrific system. Their digital escape was complete, but the real-world revolution was only beginning. Chapter 8. Digital Prisoner, Real-World Revelations. The blinding white sterility of the facility was a sharp contrast to the neon hues of the VCF. As Alex and Lena's consciousness slowly adjusted to their physical senses, the piercing chill of the room gnawed at their skin. The hum of countless machines, punctuated by occasional beeps, created an eerie symphony. They found themselves on elevated platforms, looking out over an endless sea of humanity. Row after row, chamber upon chamber of motionless bodies encased in translucent pods, a tangle of wires and tubes connecting each individual to a vast network. A soft blue luminescence emanated from the pods, casting ghostly shadows on the floor. Lena, clutching her frail body, whispered, It's even worse than I imagined." Alex, equally shaken, nodded. "We have to free them, all of them." The weight of the revelation bore down on them. They weren't just seeing fellow inmates, they were witnessing the grotesque commodification of humanity. The very essence of life was being harvested for the sake of power and progress. Moving shakily, they approached the nearest pod. Inside was a man, his face contorted in a permanent expression of pain. Above him, a holographic screen displayed the serene virtual landscape he was experiencing in the VCF, a stark contrast to his real-world torment. Lena pointed towards a control panel. "There. We can start the release sequence. But we have to be cautious. Detaching him abruptly could be fatal." Alex, determination burning in his eyes, replied, "We expose this to the world. Neovire's dark secret can't remain hidden." As they started the emancipation process, they knew that their fight for justice had entered a new, even more challenging phase. The digital nightmare was over, but the real-world battle had only just begun. Chapter 9. Digital Prisoner, The Final Confrontation. The warden's office was a stark juxtaposition to the grim chambers below. Polished mahogany and soft ambient lighting exuded an air of authority. Seated behind the massive desk was the warden, a woman with cold, calculating eyes. Alex, face taut with anger, demanded, "Why? Why have you turned humanity into batteries?" The warden leaned back, her voice chillingly calm. "The world outside isn't what it used to be. Resources are depleted. Energy, scarce. To ensure the survival of our civilization, sacrifices had to be made." Alex countered, "By stripping us of our humanity." The warden's eyes narrowed. "Your comfort in the VCF, or the world's survival? Which would you choose?" Alex clenched his fists. "There has to be another way." The warden simply replied, "When you find it, let me know." The weight of her words settled heavily, a grim reminder of a world on the brink. Chapter 10. Digital Prisoner, Conclusion. Outside the prison, The once vibrant cityscape now bore signs of decay and stagnation. Buildings, though technologically advanced, were dimly lit, and the streets were quieter than Alex remembered. Lena sighed. It's a choice between the lesser of two evils. Alex looked at her, determination unwavering. Exposing the truth might bring chaos, but it's a chance for a fresh start. A world built on exploitation isn't sustainable. Lena nodded, but we need a plan. A way to transition without plunging everything into darkness. Together, they decided to rally the freed inmates and the general populace. With the truth as their weapon, they sought not just to expose Neovia's sins, but to work collaboratively to find alternative solutions. The story of the digital prisoner wasn't just about escape. It was about the power of unity and hope in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.